Hey, what's up, VC? It's Steve again, Harmless Rebel, and it's time for another metal update. I'm going to go into a recent issue that I had with some online purchases I made recently that's almost turned me off of buying online. I had a bad experience with Discogs and now a bad experience with eBay within a couple days of each other. So let's just kind of jump in. First album I picked up earlier this week, or maybe last week. This is Saviors, Into Abaddon. Some really cool artwork there. Got the four horsemen of the apocalypse right there. It's kind of hard to see, but some killer artwork. This is it's more heavy metal, but they kind of fall into the stoner metal category. From what I understand, some of their other albums were more stoner metal. This one is definitely on the heavy metal side. Very good though. Highly recommend. I'm not a huge stoner metal fan. I do like a little bit of sludge, and I love doom metal. The stoner metal usually doesn't appeal to me. This is pretty good though. These next two aren't usually considered hard rock, or this particular band, but man, this is some hard rockin' stuff. So first up, The Serpent is Rising from Styx. And this is their early stuff on Wooden Nickel. I believe it's Wooden Nickel. This is, I believe, their third and fourth album. And this is Man of Miracles. But I was really amazed with how hard this stuff rocks. I mean, we're all used to Mr. Roboto, the late 70s, early 80s, more classic rock sounding Styx. But man, this stuff is pretty heavy, especially The Serpent's Rising. I was really amazed with how hard this was. Just really good stuff. This one is 73 and 74. This one is getting more towards their sound that they're more known for in the late 70s and early 80s. And the fact that these are on Wooden Nickel and they signed to a major label after doing these kind of makes me think that they moved and followed the direction of the label, you know. So this next one is one of my favorite metal albums of the 80s. It's by far my favorite new wave of British metal band. And let me begin by saying this is a decent shaped album. I bought it off of eBay for 15 bucks. What kind of upsets me though is it was listed a little bit better. She listed the sleeve in VG Plus. I don't know if you can see it. I would definitely not call that VG Plus. But she listed the album, the vinyl itself, as being in near mint condition, and unfortunately it's not. It's probably VG. It's still playable, it sounds good, but a lot of noise in the background. And then to make things worse, my address was incorrect on eBay. So I sent her an email saying, hey, that's my old address, please send it to this one, and she refused to. And it turned into this 3 or 4 day issue of going back and forth with eBay trying to get my address fixed, them saying it's good and her still refusing to send the album. So it really turned into this huge nightmare of an issue. I finally got it after 2 weeks. Just a nightmare, but it's Grim Reaper, See You in Hell. Again, it's one of the best new wave of British metal albums in my opinion. It's usually ranked in like the top 9 or 10 all time of new wave or new wave of British metal, heavy metal. Killer album. It's one of my favorites again. I have it on tape. I have it on CD. It gets listened to all the time. I'm glad to finally have it on vinyl, even though I went through all of that to get it. I had a very similar situation with Discogs. I was looking for the third album from Stars. So I ordered it. I found it on Discogs, and the guy listed it as being in the sleeve in VG Plus and the vinyl in near mint condition. And then when I was looking through, I usually don't want to order just one thing, so I usually look through whatever the seller is selling and try to find other stuff I'm looking for. And I found a number of killer albums. The problem is none of them were as advertised, not one of them. The prices were good, so I can't complain too much. I didn't pay more than $5 for any of these, and one of them I paid $1 for. And it's all playable, which is most important. But still, when you're told something is one thing and you get something else, it's disappointing. Sorry. So first up, again, Stars. Coliseum Rock. I love this album. I've listened to it maybe 3 times since I got it a few days ago. The problem is it's listed as VG Plus. I don't know if you can see how bad this is bent. You can see the seams are coming apart all the way around the album. There's pretty heavy ring wear in the front and ring wear in the back. When I think of VG Plus is a near mint to me, with a couple of minor issues, maybe a little corner damage or some minor wear. This would be G to VG in my opinion. And comment if you think that I'm going overboard or that I'm wrong about my evaluation. Let me know. Maybe I just over evaluate stuff. And the other thing that drove me nuts is he mentioned that his exact comments were VG Plus near mint vinyl. The vinyl is not near mint. The vinyl is probably VG as well. Maybe VG to a low VG Plus. But again, playable. I can't complain. It was $4, so it's a good price any way you look at it. It's just when somebody says that he said he conservatively appraised all of these. And he's conservatively an idiot. I'll just leave it at that. But that was the first one. Again, all of these play good for the most part. They're listenable, I should say. So I still got what I wanted, just not in the condition that I was expecting. This next one, he listed as in G condition. He neglected to mention this. This is definitely not G in my opinion. You can see the ring wear. The album he listed as G, and that's probably pretty close. I would say it's a low G, but that was at least accurate. But this is Axe Offering. I showed my first Axe album a couple months ago. It's a Texas hard rock band from the 70s. It's still a killer album. I really dig it. I paid 90 cents for this, so again, I can't complain too much. It's just the fact that he listed it one way and I got something else. So this one, next, Heaven, Where Angels Fear to Tread. Really cool back cover. This is just some real good 80s rock, or 80s metal. I had never heard of this band before. I have seen this album cover before. I shouldn't say I've never heard of it. I wasn't familiar with the band until listening to it. I'll definitely look for the rest of their discography. Good metal, but he listed this as near mint. You can see all the corners are damaged. And the record is near mint as well. I would probably put this at VG Plus, and the vinyl at VG Plus as well. I also ordered Down for the Count from Y&T. I don't have any Y&T on vinyl other than this now. I have maybe 4 or 5 of their cassettes, but none of their vinyl. So I definitely, and this was one I didn't have on in any format, so I definitely wanted to get this. So this was later in the 80s. I want to say 80. I can't even remember now. 85, so mid 80s. Still a good album though. I do like Y&T. I prefer the earlier stuff, but this is still a pretty good album. And then last but not least is, well, not even last but not least, there's one more here. The last 12-inch though, this is Black and Blue's debut album. This one was also listed as being in mint condition. It's a very low VG, or I'm sorry, very high VG maybe, if that. The vinyl, VG to VG Plus. And then this one was listed as being in mint condition. He did not mention that it was in a generic sleeve. This is Stars. This is the single for Monkey Business and Fallen Angel. Off of, I believe it was a second album. I may be wrong on that. I'm pretty sure it was their second album though. He forgot to mention that it was in a generic sleeve. That wasn't advertised. And he also listed this as being in mint condition. And I don't know if you can see the scratches. This one's barely playable. So I haven't done a bad review yet, but I will be doing a bad review for this guy. So that's my experience. Still, like I said, some killer albums. I definitely enjoyed all the albums. It's all stuff I've been looking for, with the exception of Heaven, and I'm glad I bought it. It's a really cool metal band, and I'll be buying more of their stuff. But it's been a rough couple weeks for online purchases. In the background, we're listening to Structure. This was a band I grew up with, or I shouldn't say I grew up with. It was in the local scene when I was in Phoenix. This is one of the more popular bands at the time that was hitting the local scene. I got to see the CD release party was at Boston's, I believe, which was one of the better clubs in Phoenix back in the mid '90s. Just a killer album. It's hard to find. I do see it on. I've seen it on Discogs for like $30. They did a very limited run. I think they only did like 200. So, but that's it, VC. Tell me what you think. I hope you like it. Take care.